What's up, everybody? Welcome back to A View from the Stage with your guy, Rob. So on September 1st, we went to see a little band called Metallica. It was a wild ride, to be sure, but what I didn't expect is for everything that went into the 9-hour adventure that we would be a part of. More on that to come. So me and my girlfriend, we took a trip to California to see the sights and hear the sounds of LA/West Hollywood. We went to the Rainbow Room, we went to the Academy Museum, we did a tour of Warner Brothers Studios, with an absolutely terrific tour guide, and it was excellent. Airbnb we stayed in wasn't the greatest, but we rolled with the punches and we still had a great time. And we packed up all of our stuff and we went to Phoenix, Arizona. We had an amazing time in Phoenix. We went horseback riding, we did the Desert Botanical Gardens, and of course we had to go to the Hole in the Rock in Papago Park. But the most important part of Phoenix was seeing Metallica, and we had snake pit tickets. Basically, since the late 80s, early 90s, Metallica has had their snake pit available to a few lucky fans. It was basically an experience that they had thought to give their super fans to thank them for sticking with them throughout the years. So naturally, when we found out that the show had snake pit tickets, we thought, hell yes, we're gonna be close to idols of mine, and it cannot be overstated enough that when I found out that we were going and we had snake pit tickets, I was doing a happy dance. So as time went by, I found out that the people in the snake pit for this tour was going to be in the round, and it was going to have about 900 people in it. I was kind of disappointed in this fact, but I wasn't going to let it deter me from enjoying the show. Well, so we got to State Farm Stadium around 2 p.m. I wanted to get there early because I knew if I didn't, I knew the best spots in the snake pit would be gone. Well, by the time they let us in, those best spots were already taken, so as you can probably guess, that's another black check mark for me. I did make it to the Black Box Lounge and picked up a sandwich and also some pretty cool shots of everything I saw. That was super cool. So after standing for approximately four hours at this point, Mammoth took the stage. Now, I love Eddie Van Halen. Love Eddie Van Halen. I also love his son. But this band was exceptionally boring to me. I had started to understand what a stadium show was going to be. A loud, cacophonous mess. Oh boy. They basically played mostly a forgettable set list, and Wolfgang didn't even move from his spot, which was a shame, and it was cool to see them, but it also was kind of lame. Anyway, so next was Pantera. Now, of course, the loss of Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Darrell were on my mind, but the guys in the band, they pulled it off. From Zakk Wylde and his pretty decent attempt to play Dimebag's riffs in Dimebag's style, Charlie Bernandi's drums, which I'm pretty sure they had Vinnie's triggers on them because they sounded fantastic. They might have been the best band there that night, but again, I'm getting to that. Phil was awesome. He actually started tearing up a couple of different times throughout the set. I think that he is just happy to be on the road again with Pantera and not his silly band that he had before that. Well, after that, technically. But I thought that Pantera they basically stole the show from me. Then the moment arrived. It was time for Metallica. Now the guys who've had the same three dudes in the band, minus the bass player, and Cliff and Jason were also on my mind, obviously for different reasons, but still the tragedy of Cliff and the finality of Jason, it's a pretty vivid thing. Now, the band started with Creeping Death. Now, of course, I love this song, but wouldn't you know, there's literally a guy who barrels its way past us, heads right up to the front. I pulled his shirt back so he would go back to where he was. He showed me his tattoo of a little fire with the words Creeping Death on it. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, man. That still doesn't give you free will just to come in and barge in and go where you want because you have a tattoo of the song that they're playing, you know? They played a few songs from their newest album, which I reviewed here. Also, they played Sad But True, Nothing Else Matters, Holier Than Thou, Fade to Black. I also enjoyed a song from Reload on this tour, and that was Fuel. The pyro and everything else together was super perfect. By the end of the set, it was time for a big old laugh with beach balls, and they played Seek and Destroy, and that was sure. But I honestly have to say the highlight for me was when they played Orion. When they played that, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It's also the point that the drums were furthest away from me, and that is super important. Basically, my review for the show is this. The band, they were phenomenal. They played everything well, as evidenced by the audio you can hear here. However, the sound was awful. Now, I know that the sound for basically all of the shows was equally as bad, but I thought because we were in an indoor stadium that the sound would be better. It was not. We had a total of 6 speakers in our general direction. 6 lousy speakers in an NFL stadium. Now think about that. Come on now. That does not bode well for good sound. The drum sound was super delayed, and the crowd, which you can also hear in the video, was off from the music. And that's... Now, in saying that, this isn't a Metallica hit piece. We found out the next day that James had COVID, and so we had to postpone the show to the following weekend, and we couldn't make it because we were not going to be there. So we got a refund for half of the ticket price minus taxes. The sound engineer on this tour should seriously be fired. I, outside of my feet, had a terrific time at the show, but my God, get a different sound engineer, because people that are seeing you for the second or third time, like myself, expect to be able to hear the band they are going to see. All because all of the speakers are facing away from the snake pit, you know, where the money is. You can't hear anything to save your life. Thank you guys so much for watching. Here's a couple questions. Have you seen the M72 tour? What are your thoughts on the sound issues? Did you have any issues at all? Did you love the show? Let me know down in the comments. As well, if you like this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Take care, everyone, and remember, be well.